So today, lads, we're going to be reacting to W Slam's free agency grades in the WNBA. Obviously, you've got some of the things. The Fever one it says here, free agents got us in a frenzy, all aboard the Phoenix bandwagon. Aces will have unreal season. What? Wait, the Aces will have an unreal season? Based on what? They spent most of last season hovering around 500 and they got worse. All my family told apart, this is good for the growth of the game. So, let's take a look. I'm going to give my grades for the WNBA free agency first, and I just want to see what they end up giving. So, Atlanta Dream got better. Let's give them a B+. Dallas Wings, I actually think they did well. Let's give Dallas Wings I'll give them a B+ too. Sky got better, didn't lose the Connecticut pick, and didn't lose either of their picks in the draft. A-. Valkyries, considering no one wanted to join them, they did the best thing by getting everyone from overseas. B. Connecticut Sun, I mean, considering everyone left, they actually did an okay job, but because everyone left, I'm still going to go and give them... And because they didn't trade Mabry and Cloud for any assets. If they trade Mabry and Cloud and they get assets and rebuild for the future and start doing okay, I'll go and give them a B-, but right now, like, C-. The Aces got worse, screwed their cap space, and got no future assets. D. The Fever, A+. Was Sparks, they gave up 2 for Kelsey Plum. So they gave up a little bit of their future for a little bit of the present. They gave Mercedes Russell a near max contract for a year. Let me put the Sparks at like B-, C+ maybe. New York Liberty literally did not get anyone in. If Maureen Johannes comes back, let me just give it a C. They lost Kayla Thornton and got no one else in. The Minnesota Lynx are an interesting team. They still have their draft pick. They got Badian, who's I think I rate really highly. They might get Katie Lou Samuelson. They got Grace Berger. So, and they lost Chechi Zandalasini. I don't know how much better Zandalasini is than Grace. So I'll give the Minnesota Lynx... I'll give the Lynx a... Honestly, they're the best team in the WNBA, so I'll give them an A. They were the second best team, and I think they became the best team. So let's give them an A. The Phoenix Mercury really retooled without giving up too much draft capital, considering they gave up a bunch of it in the Cat Copper trade. I'll give the Mercury I'll give them an A. The Mystics literally didn't do anything except lose Julie Vanloo. Let's give the Mystics a C, D. The C. They didn't get as much worse as the Aces, and they're not screwed. They didn't screw their future either by giving up either of their picks. The Seattle Storm, I'm gonna give the Seattle Storm an A. They got off Jewel Lloyd, who seemed to be a locker room cancer. If you include Jordan Horston tearing her ACL, you can move to like a C. But they got Lexi Brown, who's a good player, for basically nothing. If she plays, she can be really good. They're gonna get the number 2 pick in the draft. So yeah, I think the Storm are gonna be better next season, just addition by subtraction of Jewel Lloyd. But let's see what W Slams are. So they have Atlanta Dream with a B-. So replacing in the start replacing Naz Hillman and Tina Charles with Brittany Griner, who's just a better version of Tina Charles, and Bree Turner, who is, I don't rate the two of them together, but each of them as individuals. Brittany Griner's an all-star, Bree Turner's borderline all-star. Maybe they can't play at the same time, but like, you can now start to play Ryan Howard maybe at the 4 and go a little bit smaller. There's no way there's anything less than a B+ for the Atlanta Dream. Like, they got better. They didn't get worse. You can't give them a B- for getting better without giving up any assets, because they signed him in free agency. They also got Walker Kimbrough as well as a bench player. There's no way. Atlanta Dream were one of the top 3 off seasons probably. The Indiana Fever A+, yeah, obviously. Obviously with their off season. That's all I'm gonna say. And like, even if Bree Turner gets off Twitter, and I do like the fact that Bree Turner has turned off replies to her tweets, which I actually really like. If Bree Turner does that for the year, isn't obsessed with Twitter and just tweets and doesn't look at replies and quote tweets, then yeah, 100% is an A+. The Sparks being an A-, like, no. They just gave up the 2 pick for Kelsey Plum. They lost Lexi Brown. I understand Lexi Brown's not that big, and they overpaid for, like, I don't think Odyssey Sims is an overpay, but, like, they overpaid for Mercedes Russell as a backup. I don't know. They could have done a lot better with the money they had. And, like, the Sparks might not even make the playoffs. There's no way I'm giving them an A-, unless you consider Cameron Brink coming back as part of their offseason. But then for the Dallas had a better offseason than the Sparks. The Dallas Wings, ironically, are going to be better last year than this year. There is no way in hell Dejanay Carrington is playing power forward. They overpaid for Maisha Hines-Allen, but basically doing a 1-for-1 swap, Dejanay for JC Sheldon, is a steal. Tiara McCowan, you lost Kalani Brown, sure. That you don't need McCowan and Kalani Brown. The only thing is, like, they do need a backup center, which they're probably going to take the 12th pick of the draft. But you got Paige Beckers there. Imagine if they throw a curveball and they're like, we want Malonga 1 and we're going to take, like, Sundell at 12. Ty Harris is probably coming off the bench. But even if they don't want, like, Paige Beckers, Ty Harris is a more than good enough starting point guard. Like, it makes more and more sense for them to start to take Malonga, if we're being honest. Like, if it wasn't for the money aspect, taking Malonga would make way more sense. Because, like, you can play Malonga at the 5, then you can play at the 4 Maisha Hines-Allen, who's much better than Tiara McCowan, and then Arike, Ty Harris, and Dejanay. Like, that is a better team than Tiara McCowan at the 5 and Paige Beckers there, and Dejanay at the 4, or Maisha Hines-Allen trying to play with Tiara McCowan. But, yeah, I'm giving them... They had a better offseason than the Sparks. The Sparks just gave up their future for the present. Like, you can't give someone an A for just giving up... it would be like saying if the Wings traded, I don't know, Paige for Ryan Howard, and Ryan Howard's better immediately, that it's an A. It's like, not really. I don't know. How did the Aces get... The Aces had the worst offseason. Like, this is not a good team. Like, Liz Kitley's back from injury. Okay, they did that last year. That's not a new signing. Chian Parker-Tyus is a good signing. Okay, fine. Their best bench player is probably going to be Dana Evans. Like, this is a team that signed... They would have been better off just trading straight up Kelsey Plum for the second pick. They would have been better off just making that trade straight up. Because... what happened now is you've got Jewel Lloyd, who's makes the team worse, and no bench whatsoever. You've still got Stokes, you've still got Gustafson, you've got Kitley. You could argue your 3 best bench players are all centers, unless you start Kia Stokes, and then Gian Parker-Tyus is also kind of a center. Like, your guards off the bench are like Tiffany Mitchell, who, look, I don't think Tiffany Mitchell is bad, but she's not a game changer. And you got the 13th pick in the draft, who you're going to have to put that 13th pick into the draft straight into the rotation. How do you get an A- for getting significantly worse? You lost Alicia Clark, Sydney Colson, and Tiffany Hayes. You lost your entire bench, and Kate Martin. You lost your bench and replaced them with worse players, and as your stars get worse. How do you get an A- for getting worse? You got worse. You got worse and got an A-. Like, this is the Aces effect. And how did the Chicago Sky get a B? They are so much better this year. Like, I get it, you lose Kennedy Carter. I understand that. Beck Allen is a really good starter. Kia Nurse, every 4th game is going to play like an all-star. The other 3, she's going to play like someone who won a competition to get into the WNBA. But she can still give you really good games. You've still got your 2 bigs. You've got now, what's her name? You've re-signed Michaela Oniwere. You've got a true point guard in Courtney Vandersloot, who's a huge upgrade over Lindsay Allen. And now you've got, like, you still didn't give up the Connecticut Sun pick, so you're probably getting in the lottery anyway. So, like, you don't have to lose games this year because you don't own your pick. You're probably getting in the lottery via Connecticut's pick. And you're in a year where if you get a top 4 pick next year, you might get Flaujae. Like, Tanaya Latson, Flaujae, Betts, There are so many good players in that draft. The Connecticut Sun getting a C. I actually don't hate it. I think they have to make one or two more signings just to hit the minimum salary, but I don't hate it. Like, I don't think they had the worst. They had the worst, but they didn't have the worst offseason. Considering the fact everyone wanted to leave, I actually think they could have had a significantly worse offseason. Just because, given the circumstances. I think they actually they got good assets out of... I actually think they got good assets out of what they were doing. If you understand, if you get where I'm coming from. Like, I'm not trying to say that they did well, but I am saying that, like, the assets that they got were more than sufficient considering what they gave out. Like, Tina Charles is good to get. I don't mind Diamond Shields. I like JC Sheldon. They kept Breanna Mabry. They got Tash Cloud, and they got some picks. Like, they managed to get up to the 8th pick in the draft, who will probably start. Nelson Adota is a decent player. And they've got salary cap moves to basically probably... What I'm guessing is they're going to give Izzy Harrison like $200K a year. And Izzy Harrison's going to come in at the 4. And then whoever they draft is probably going to play the 3 with that 8th pick. I'm guessing they're hoping that AZ Fudd is taken by the Sky, and if Sonia Citron's there, and if not, AZ Fudd's going to be there. So you could go potentially out with Cloud, Fudd, Mabry, Harrison, and Tina Charles, and that's a team that could sneak into the playoffs. So I don't hate what they've done in the offseason. I think it would be better if they went all in on the tank, but if they were trying to be competitive, I think they're as competitive as possible. And A-, Diana Taurasi says, I sincerely doubt is coming back, which would change the Mercury grade a lot. People are sleeping on a dream. What? Like, the Mercury with Taurasi. Like, Taurasi does not play for that team. And, like, let's be real, Taurasi's almost a net negative on a team. Like, you've got Kyle Copper playing point guard. Like, no, Kalani Brown is probably not going to start for the Mercury. The Mercury are almost certainly going to play. They need to find someone at the 1. They have the money to do it. But I think they're going to play Alyssa Thomas at the 5. This is Nate Tibbetts we're talking about. This man is the king of strange offenses. So, I do think... I do genuinely think that... like, you're going to see her at the 5, Satu at the 4, Kat Copper at the 3. The Mercury have someone else that I'm forgetting about. Don't they? Did the Mercury not have someone that I've just completely forgot about in their roster? Or is their roster, like, that slight? Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, maybe. Maybe Kat Copper at point guard is the move, I guess. I have a feeling that Alyssa Thomas is either going to play point guard or center. I don't know which one she's going to play. She's going to play one of those two positions. Kalani Brown starting center. No, I'm not. This team's worse than last year. Unless they can get one more signing. I'm like, why did I think this team was better than last year? Is it better than last year? Honestly. Is it better than last year? Like, I watched Laxa play against Ireland. She wasn't even the best player on the floor. Claire Amelia was better than her. I watched her play against freaking Ireland, who lost to France by 100 points. Her team nearly lost, and she wasn't the best player on the floor. A-. Okay, maybe they've got a little more of a future than they would have had with Taurasi Griner. They're better than last year, okay. Oh, let's just give them a B. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. These are the off-season grades. This is the most ridiculous thing. The Aces tax. People thinking Aces actually had a good off-season. Madness. Absolute madness. And also, the fact that the Dream got a B- is crazy. But anyway, I'll see you guys.